Hi. Trucks and SUVs are a big part of the North American market. They're growing constantly as far as overall sales are concerned, and people are really interested in them. In this segment, part two of a three-part series, we're going to be focusing on the most important truck releases and SUV releases for 2021, as defined by being impactful on the market, as well as in the lives of the consumer who buys and drives them. So for you, that's what this is all about. Welcome to Mike Talks Cars. I'm Mike. The next segment we're going to talk about is, of course, trucks and SUVs. And the first honorable mention on that particular list is this one, the 2021 Land Rover Defender 90. Now, why is it important? Primarily just because it appeals to a buyer who is looking for some cachet. And take a look at this model. They have updated the styling. They have updated the interior. It's probably the first interior I've seen in a Land Rover Defender that really looks like someplace that you'd want to spend some time. They claim that it has all of the capability of the previous Defenders, and I won't naysay that even a little bit. It makes honorable mention for my SUVs and trucks this year. The next one has to be on the list simply from sheer volume. The Chevrolet Tahoe, Chevrolet Suburban, and GMC Yukon are from a family of GM SUVs that has literally defined what a large SUV looks like. And anytime they release a brand new SUV in this flavor, it's going to make my list. This vehicle has a fantastic reputation in the marketplace. And think about Chevy Suburban. That vehicle, if you need a large SUV, that is the go-to unit for many, many families here in North America. They have done a great job. They've softened some of the lines on these vehicles. They look really sharp and yet still somehow very GM-like. The interiors, they've been doing interiors fairly well for a very long time. And when you look at this one, you see that they haven't spared the horses. They have pumped in the technology. They've pumped in the comfort. They've pumped in the luxury that people expect in this price point and in this size of SUV. Honorable mention? Yeah, it deserves it. Every day, all day. Now the next one. Nissan Frontier. It's a brand new small truck, basically from the ground up. Double wishbone front suspension. It's got leaf spring rears. It's got a new motor, 3.8 liter V6, direct injected. It's an engine that I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel and driving. And take a look at the styling. Completely different than the previous generation Frontier, which, by the way, was introduced in its pretty much current format back in 2004. It's just been sliding under the radar. A lot of people don't even realize that Nissan still builds this size of truck. In Canada, where they're losing the Titan after this year, this truck will be their main offering in the, hey, I've got a pickup truck segment. And the new Frontier looks really great. The interior is solid. It's got the technology that we were looking for in the previous generation Frontier. And I fully expect that this Frontier will wake up some of the competition. Now, when speaking about the competition for this particular truck, I have to bring up the fact that it's going up against, well, the monster in this segment. And that, of course, is the Toyota Tacoma. The Toyota Tacoma is a huge mountain to climb. And I give Nissan all the props for bringing a vehicle straight at it. Great design, great mechanicals. It looks like one that at least can get into the same ballpark. And that's good news and deserving of honorable mention for this year. The next unit, is, I think, the one that everybody kind of figures that I must be moving towards for most important new truck or SUV release for 2021. The Bronco. It's not. Is it an important one? Well, it's important enough to make the honorable mention list, that's for sure. And it's cool. Let's face it. When you take a look at this vehicle, it comes in 3 different flavors. You've got the Sport, which kind of carries on the Ford Explorer in a little different format, kind of format. And then there's the 2-door and the 4-door. And when you look at these 2 vehicles, you realize they're pretty cool. They look cool. They look retro. They've got a bit of a flavor to them. The interiors are a little bit utilitarian, but should be based on what it's doing, what the vehicle is trying to be. But do I think it's the most important release? No, I don't. This vehicle is actually kind of trying to slide into that spot where Jeep Wrangler has been sitting for a good long time. And frankly, they may actually take a little bit of business away from the Jeep Wrangler. It looks tough, it looks interesting, but from my perspective and my opinion, I think that this vehicle is going to be one that a niche group of buyers will absolutely have to have. They will dive in, run all over with this vehicle, and it will make a nice splash for Ford. But the vehicle that I put at the top of the list for most important truck or SUV released in 2021 is this one. Yeah, the Ford F-150. Now, we all know that from a sales perspective, the Ford F-150 has been doing an amazing job in the marketplace for years and years. There are families that have driven Fords for generations, many generations, and that's a good thing. However, one of the things that I have had an issue with as far as Ford F-150 has been concerned for many years is the fact that they just sort of held their path. What impresses me so much about the 2021 Ford F-150 is that it shows some ability to react to the market. I take a look at what Ram did in 2019. Ram changed the game when they spent a ton of money and effort redesigning the interior of the Ram pickup. What they came out with was a vehicle that actually won Luxury Car of the Year in a couple of contests. Luxury Car of the Year. The interior was beautifully done, excellent materials, great technologies. All those things were there, and I think Ford paid attention. They've stood up here and they've created a new truck that, while yes, very much Ford, it has softer lines on the outside. It has a cleaner look overall. The grille work is really quite nice. When you step to the interior, they have changed the interior enough that I have to say, hey, kudos, good job. It looks great. And they've added the technologies that people are really looking for. But they've gone a few steps further. You can get 6 different engines with this particular truck, including the new full hybrid. The new full hybrid is, in fact, a very powerful engine combination, and it also helps to sip fuel so that the EPA ratings or the Transport Canada ratings in Canada will reflect the fact that it's a full hybrid. What else they have done is they have thought about, how do I take an idea to put the ability to run 110 volt electrical out of the bed of my truck to a whole new level. With the Power Boost engine, they have the ability to put out 7.2 kilowatts power. I mean, think about that. That's a huge amount of power. It's like having a major generator right on the job site or the campsite. And if you look closely at the picture, look what the guy's plugging in right now. Yeah, 220 volt power outlet. This is a big deal for many, many people out there. This is a game changer based on how you're going to work with or live with the truck. And that, of course, is a big part of how I determine how important a new vehicle is. This power boost engine is also a strong move towards full electric. Now, I will say that I have some reservations about pickup trucks full electric simply because of where I live. I live in the wilds of Canada, and I can tell you that great distance creates a problem if you are going from job site to job site. You have to have the infrastructure to be able to make that work and the time for recharging a full electric. So the fact that they've gone with this full hybrid, that they're working down this path, this is quite exciting to me, because you can still fill up at the gas station and utilize that electric assistance in getting where you need to be. There's power there, and yeah, pun intended. So, interior-wise, as I mentioned before, has had a lot of improvements, and they've even put some innovations in here that are pretty cool. Like, look at the gear shifter, where they've still kept it down on the console, where many of their buyers really like to see it. They have the ability to get it out of the way and convert the interior right over into a nice workspace if they so desire. That's kind of clever, and showing that type of clever and engineering is why this truck has made the top of the list for most important pickup truck and SUV for 2021. Love to hear your thoughts on that as well. So, I've given you something to think about here, haven't I? Trucks and SUVs can be pretty exciting product, and of course, with their importance in the marketplace, to see vehicles like those that we've discussed in this video is a big deal. Now, this was part 2 of a 3-part series. There's also a portion that covers cars and CUVs, and a segment on electric vehicles, which is the part 3 video. What I hope you will do is subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on when we put up new videos. But I will look forward to hearing your comments and seeing you in our electric vehicle video, part 3 of this series. See you there.